Hey y'all, welcome back to Mercury Speaks. If you're watching this on YouTube or TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, wherever, thank you for supporting. Thank you for tapping in and tuning in. It's been a minute, y'all. I want to talk about the transits, of course, and just some other things that I've become privy to as we close out 2024 calendar year, okay? But if you really know, you know the new year doesn't really start until April, when the new zodiac year begins. And we are back from the beginning with the zodiac calendar. So thank you for supporting. And I know I never share this, but I do want to share this now. I feel the need to. I don't know if it's just because since Jupiter been transiting Gemini, I've been like extra like Gemini. So I'm like, I feel the need to share a little more, and I feel the need to really just pop out. But anyway, I said that to say, we have had an interesting year, to say the least. It's been a lot going on, all the way from our personal lives to the media, to politics, to health and wellness. Like, we can see the collective changes. We can see the collective shifts and effects that's happening. Like, whether you want to connect the dots or not, that's on you. But like, you can't hide in we're in that space and time collectively where we cannot run and hide from the reality of things. Like, we have to confront it or accept it and just deal with it or live with it at this point. Like, it's really, really clear. Anyway, so I pulled up the chart for December 31st, the new year. Okay, New Year's Eve, whatever. I pulled up the chart for that time to see what was going on in the transits. Let's see, it's hidden. Okay. So, off the bat, even though Mercury is about to move out of retrograde December 15th, 2024, it's still going to feel retrograde because we do have a couple other planets in retrograde that are still going to be in retrograde as we close out December and move on to the next month. We're still going to have our post-shadow Mercury retrograde. So if you know, it's like sometimes the post and the pre-shadow period of Mercury transitioning through retrograde can feel a little more intense than the actual retrograde itself. So that's one thing to look out for. Then we're going to have Mars retrograde in Leo on New Year's Eve. So if you experience themes regarding maybe you want to go out but you feel like you can't afford the right outfits that you want to get, or you can't put together the right outfits, or you're having trouble doing that, or you're second guessing what it is that you really want to wear, or the type of environment you really want to be in, you're trying to dress yourself up to be happy, dress yourself up to be excited, to party with people that probably don't really care about you. That can be a theme, especially because Mars will be in retrograde and in opposition of Venus and Pluto in Aquarius. So, with Venus and Pluto in Aquarius opposition to Mars in retrograde, it's like, yeah, are these people you're really your friends? Do they really deserve to experience you happy, excited, go lucky? Do you really need to be in these environments? Do you really need to be around these people? Like, because with Venus and Pluto in the same sign, I think of experiencing themes where it's hidden motives or hidden jealousy. These are the type of themes or transits you could probably see in like a true crime case where a woman is out with her friends and she's the only one that turns up dead type shit. Like, or somebody's drinking and driving or doing reckless things as they're partying. Especially with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini, you really want to make sure that you're just taking your time with yourself. If you do go out and have fun, at least do it in intentional ways. At least do it in ways that you know you're going to be safe. You know that these people are really going to have your back. You know that these environments are not going to put you in harm's way, because I can see that energy being heightened with these transits. We're going to have the sun and moon in Capricorn on New Year's Eve. Okay. The moon does not even like being in Capricorn. So, again, it's going to be a subconscious level of responsibility. It's going to be a subconscious level of accountability, and just really making sure that you're reflecting and making sure you're being thoughtful and mindful as much as you can with these transits happening. Mercury is still going to be in Sagittarius, so you know, in your mind you actually may, you know, feel like, yeah, I want to have a good time. Like, I'm always in the house. I'm always, you know, chilling and doing that. Okay, cool. Why not do something you never done before, perhaps? Maybe you never been to the strip club and you are in a genuine good space to where you can go out, you want to go out, something like that. Like, you know, just switch it up, perhaps, is what I'm getting. Also, because Jupiter is a retrograde too in Gemini, so it's like, think differently. When I think of Jupiter in Gemini, especially it being retrograde, like, think differently. Like, pay attention to the intricate details that make up the bigger picture, you know. So that's also going on. Neptune is getting so close to the North Node in Aries. They're getting really close because the North Node is about to shift into Pisces. So I'm already seeing, like, maybe feeling as if you want to make a vision board, you want to be sure about the direction you're going in. You want that reassurance. You want probably something a little more tangible than what you may have been experiencing this entire year. Oh, this tea is busting. Okay, Saturn is still going to be in Pisces. All my Saturn and Pisces people, we are still navigating through our Saturn return. If you have Saturn and Pisces in your natal birth chart, we're still on this boat, okay? I feel like we're in the ocean right now. It literally feels like we're in the middle of the ocean and we're trying to survive, and we're trying to survive in a unique way, because if we survive the old way, then we're gonna get stuck out here in this goddamn ocean. We're gonna drown. That's what that feels like to me. Things are shifting, things are changing for the better, and the duality of life is when things shift for the better, things are also going to shift for the worse. Like, that's just the reality. That's the balance of the scales. Like, that's how it goes. I think it's more about how we handle it, better equipping ourselves on how we handle it. This is just the wisdom that I've gathered, and I know it may not look like I carry, you know, a certain level of wisdom, or I may not act like it sometimes or whatever, but, you know, when you're reaching almost 30 in less than 7 months, things start registering and clicking in your frontal lobe and in your spirit. Like, okay, like, this is 30, my nigga. Like, you only turn 30 one time. Like, you only enter this new decade at this age one time. Like, and it's so interesting how, unfortunately, we see moments where numerology is being abused, age is being misrepresented, when we see pedophile situations. And this is finna be on YouTube and shit. I don't, you know what, I'm gonna have to save this for another day. But yeah, I'm gonna have to get into that, and because I was finna start going there. And you know what, like, I'm still getting familiar with YouTube, and their restrictions, and TikTok as well. So let me get myself acclimated before I really start talking, because it's clearly like right here, ready to come up. But that's also one thing I'm learning, as I age, is there is a time and a place for everything, okay? Nothing will ever miss the time and the place, okay? Anywho, so yeah, this is a really, like, soft reality check happening right here. I wouldn't even say soft. I'm just being modest when I say soft reality check happening with these transits. Like, this is Saturn energy we have in the play. Pluto, retrogrades, you know, squares happening, oppositions happening. So this is really a challenging time in one way or another, but it's also a very blessed time, because squares and oppositions can be very beautiful. It can be very harmonious, despite contrary belief. You know, if you allow these energies to really work together to mold what it is that needs to be molded out of the situation, out of the opposition. What did you learn from the difference in experience, the difference in perspective? What did you learn from the resistance that you may have experienced within a certain energy or person? You know, these sort of experiences and themes really teach us and really help mold us to age better with time. So, you know, it can sound scary. It can sound like, you know, it can be scary sometimes. It can really be scary sometimes, you know, especially when you get into experiencing disorders and diseases such as like depression and anxiety and things that throw off your mental. Then that's when it can really become scary, because now these things are like infiltrating your well-being and taking away from you experiencing the best version of you in the present moment. And when we're not fully present with ourselves, we can't be fully present with anything or anyone else. And it just really like devalues and diminishes our experience, in my opinion, because I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, but I didn't come here to think small, and I didn't come here to play small. That doesn't mean that, you know, my ego needs to be inflated and I need everybody to bow down and, you know, whatever. That doesn't mean that. It means that, like, I didn't come here to allow thought patterns or actions that doesn't really support my happiness or support my peace or support my productivity or purpose. I didn't really come here to allow those sorts of things to, like, infiltrate that, because that's a part of my creation. So, it's really important to just do what's best for you so you can be your best self for you. Like, it's amazing to want to be your best self for somebody else, especially if you have children, especially if you have a partner, whatever. Like, that's amazing, that's beautiful, that's thoughtful, that's caring. But you can only give as much as you are showing up for yourself. And that's just the fact of the matter. You know, everything does start, end, and begin all the things within. And that's something that I learned almost over a decade ago. throughout my entire 20s has been a lesson and blessing after lesson and lesson of me experiencing the trials and tribulations of loving myself. And what does that really mean? And what does that really look like? And how do I prioritize that in a way that doesn't hurt myself or nobody else? Like, really get into the root of things. And it's just so timely, me being back in California, speaking of getting to the root of things, because that's where my roots begin, because I'm born and raised in California. So these are just things that we experience within, collective and personal transits that are happening. This is just my time for that, right? This hence why I'm going through my Saturn return, because I'm at that age, I'm at that time now to where things really have to make sense for the longevity of my purpose in my life. So depending on what transits are happening in your chart, say you are experiencing an inverse nodal return. So say you have the North Node in Virgo, but next year when the North Node moves into Pisces, the North Node is actually going to be transiting your South Node. So that's a time of development right there. That's a time of recognizing that you may need to mature more when it comes to taking your purpose seriously or intentionally, or just expanding in that, really diving into like, what did that mean for you? That could be a time for that during an inverse nodal return. So these are just sort of things that we experience in life, and we all experience it at different ages and different times, in different spaces, in different places. We all experience going through different but similar lessons, to where we have to show up differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. And that's the beautiful thing about numerology. That's the beautiful thing about age, right? Because age is numerology. Turning 25, turning 37, turning 50, turning 10. These are different points in our life to where we're experiencing specific and different themes that this age is demanding and requiring of you, so it's beautiful. It could be a lot. It could be a lot, but it can also be very beautiful. Mars is going to be at a 2nd degree retrograde in Leo. So if you do go out, be mindful of leaving your material or valuable possessions around people. If you don't fully trust the people, but if you do fully trust the people, regardless, like, keep up with your valuable possessions, because I could definitely see some of you experiencing them getting lost or stolen because you're too inebriated to keep up with it. So watch out for that as well, especially with the moon in Capricorn. Like, oh yeah, like, you don't want to end up paying later for what you did the night before. I could definitely see that with those transits. You don't want to end up having to pay a ticket, or having to pay for a new phone, or having to pay for a new pair of keys, or whatever the case may be, because you partied too hardy the night before. With Mars in Leo at that Taurus degree. Okay, what degree is Jupiter? Okay, Jupiter gonna be at an Aries degree. So yeah, the energy is gonna be there. The energy of subtle celebration, because at the end of the day, we did make it through the calendar year. If you're still alive, if you still have breath and mobility and resources and all the things, like, you really made it through the calendar year. And a lot of people can't say that, because a lot of people are, transitions. They're not here physically no more. A lot of people are behind bars physically. A lot of people are poor and suffering in different ways, or imprisoned in different ways. So if you made it through the calendar year of 2024 with your mind intact, your spirit intact, you know, your willingness to show up for yourself, and um, your gratitude for your resources and your abilities. Like, yeah, we could clap for that. We could sit for that. Because we're only human at the end of the day. We are spiritual beings having human experiences. So we do deserve a little round of applause for that. Okay. What else? And then, yeah, Jupiter is going to be squaring Saturn. But I don't think it's going to be a harsh square because... Oh, wait, never mind. They're only 1 degree away from each other. So, yeah, Jupiter is going to be... Because Jupiter's at a 13th degree. Saturn's at a 14th degree. So, a little bit of square happening right there. Jupiter and Saturn. So, yeah, be mindful of your vehicles, your possessions. Just, if you're going to be out, be mindful of the company that you're keeping and how you're keeping it, okay? North Node and Pluto at a 1 degree. Be mindful of fights. Yo, don't be fighting for nobody unnecessarily. Like, don't be doing all that extra. I be seeing y'all in the videos fighting and stuff, getting it gets wicked. That's all I'm saying. I don't want to say too much, but you know, I've personally never been one to like physical violence, like, unless it's self-defense, and you know, then that's one thing. But to be on the offense, nah. No, thank you. I'm cool. But be mindful of that. I can see that energy being into play as well in the club scenes, hookah lounges, wherever y'all still be out these days, child. This has like been the most inside year I've had all year, you know. But I'm grateful for that because this has probably been the most like holistically healthy I've really been all year. So cool. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. Thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in. I'm so happy to make videos and just show up for y'all in the ways that I can. Make sure to leave a comment if it resonates. Make sure to like if it resonates. Subscribe if you fuck with it. Share if it's really that empowering to you. Also, I do want us to close out 2024 just really being grounded in the gratitude of still being present and still having the beauty and the power of choice. I feel like that's a good starting point to anywhere that you're trying to get to in life, and to really remind you of your magic and remind you of your purpose and your beauty, and remind you that you are worthy and that you are enough, because sometimes I know I need to hear it, so I have to pass it along as well. Okay. But yeah, thank y'all. Book a reading. I definitely am still doing astrology readings. You can slide in my DM or you can email me, Jonea page at iCloud.com. All my information is on all my platforms, so I'm not hard to find. I'm here. So yeah, I hope y'all have a good rest of y'all day, whenever you're watching this, and peace until next time.